It's so quiet. There's no ambient noise. I do like recording when it's very quiet. 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 My neighbor's not upstairs. I don't hear anything but my whispers. The jets are still flying by, though. You'll hear them, like you did on Monday and Wednesday. But I hope you're watching, or enjoying, I should say, watching my videos this week. And if so, just give me a like right now before we get started. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. And subscribe to my channel as well. I'm just a crazy guy that talks about money, tries to teach people to value financial security over material items. It's my job. Somebody's got to do it, right? I've been a little feisty this week. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's because I just got back from LA Fitness, and I was so happy that, today's Saturday that I'm recording this, and I think I told you last time or the time before that I'm trying to see if I can go Saturday and Sunday, because I may go back to work as a contractor on a Tuesday and a Thursday or something like that. And I want to get my 5 workouts in per week. That's not negotiable. I've got to do that, right? For my wellness, my own emotional well-being. Evan needs to stay fit to be happy. And so I told you last time I wasn't able to find a lane, swimming. But I went there today, and there were lanes available to swim at noon. It was wonderful. So when everybody else is like feeding their face, yeah, I'm swimming my laps. I'm gonna show you my goggles. Yeah, I'm gonna do an unboxing of goggles. So I actually bought 2 new goggles on Amazon. I opened one and I'm using it. The other one I have in a box, but I'm gonna unbox it, right? Don't people do that? Don't ASMR artists do like unboxing and stuff like that? Yeah. And I'm trying to be an ASMR person, so, talk about money, but I'm like an ASMR wannabe, It's kind of like a hobby, right? I'm obviously not one of those big channels or anything, but maybe if more of you subscribe, then I could be. I'm just saying. I have no ads in my videos anymore, so I don't want to hear people complaining about that. You should be able to sleep right now. You should be able to sleep. And this is one of my triggers, right, of the week. I used it before. I have to start getting better triggers. I don't have to spend any money because I'm really frugal. I can just find things around the house, right? Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Thank you for all of the suggestions you guys have been giving me recently. I write them down in a book. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. So if you want me to ramble about something, just put it in the comments. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'll be talking about your comment. Your comment to help you sleep. And I figure as you guys get older, someday you're going to look back and say, I used to fall asleep to that crazy guy in the hat. And he was always talking about money, like, get a Roth IRA and stuff like that. And then you're going to say, I'm so glad I did that. Because now my Roth has like $100,000 in it or something. And you will thank me. You will thank me. Thank you very much. Anyway, so today's episode is all about young people. That might be you, right? Even if you're like 40, you're still young. Oh, come on. To be 40 again, I'll be 60 years old next year. That's not even old. 70 is not even old. I went back to the gym, you guys know, in January, and I saw some old friends of mine that I have not seen in years. One guy is 68. He looked 42. And I said to him, you've been coming here ever since I quit back in 2014, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, there you go. That's why you look like that and I look like this. But I quickly got my jive back with the workouts, so no problem there. I'm starting to look like a swimmer again. It's all good. But where was I going with that? He's 68, yeah. So for those of you that are thinking, oh no, I haven't saved enough, I'm 40, I'm 45, stop. I did not start saving money until I was 40 years old. You guys know that have been with me, right? I was broke at 40. So, you can be a success with money over time. It takes time. Little bits of money here and there that you're putting away. You will thank me someday. You'll be like, again, that crazy guy with the hat. He just kept babbling on, and I'm trying to sleep. I was trying to sleep, but he just, Roth IRA, Roth IRA, Roth IRA, Roth IRA, taxable account, taxable account, taxable account. And then you finally woke up, and you finally, got a Roth IRA, and you started investing a little bit here, a little bit there. And then you're going to be my age, and you're going to be like, you know what? Maybe I should retire early. And you're going to thank me again because you're going to have choices that your neighbors and your friends will not have. Those choices are going to be huge for you. And again, you're going to thank ASMR Money Mentor. I can almost guarantee it. So, today we're going to talk about young people have the ability to control more than you realize. I have to do more finger flutters, I keep forgetting. I do them at the end. But I always forget. And I need my scissors too. Snip, snip. Snip, snip. Snip, snip. I hope that's not too loud. Not too loud. Not too loud. But we're going to talk about 3 snips. No, 3 tips to do better with money. Number 1. Can we just all say it together? Low cost index funds. Thank you very much. Do you guys know the Financial Tortoise? It's a YouTube channel. I forget his name. He's really good. He's got thousands of subscribers. He's very successful. I'm not. I'm like a hobbyist, I talk about money, but he's not an ASMR person. But no, I'm successful. If you guys are here, I am successful. I'm not doing this for money. As long as you pay my gym membership, I'm happy. Okay? I talked about that last time. If I make $600 a year, $1,000 a year, it pays my gym membership, I'm good. You're going to keep me fit over time. So thank you by watching. Just, if you fall asleep, you have to go rewatch the episode though. But anyway, the Financial Tortoise. I love reading some of his information. It so much resonates with me and the financial independent community. mindset. You don't have to be a part of this community. I say I'm like part of this community. I don't even know what it is. I mean, it's a bunch of like-minded people. You don't have to like join. There's no membership fee or whatever. But to say you're part of a community that is doing things that most people don't is very empowering. So he met with somebody, I forget who, I think she was a dentist, making a lot of money. And she was, I think, in her mid-40s, and she already had about $1.5 million. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of money, right? Good for her. I was broke at 40, but he analyzed her portfolio. And there are what are called expense ratios. Expense ratios, just look it up, right? If you've got a 401k, go back and look at what you have in your 401k. You know, Google the ticker symbol, and you might have managed funds that are like 1% or more as an expense ratio, which means they take out that money before you even see it. They're sneaky. But managed funds do not necessarily do better over time than index funds. Index funds just ride the market. They're very cheap to own. The expense ratio is like 0.003 or something like that. A fraction of a percent, right? Not 1% like managed funds usually are. So he had convinced her to move those into index funds that had pretty much the same, stocks and bonds. And he proved to her that he saved her like hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. You really do have to pay attention to fees, F-E-E-S. That's why I love low-cost index funds. So tip number one is to go to your 401k if you have one. Go to your Roth IRA and take a look. What are you investing in? And if the expense ratios are 1% or more, it may be in your best interest to move those into lower cost index funds. I'm going to do a video soon because somebody had a suggestion, thank you very much, to ramble about the mutual funds that are part of my Roth IRA, which I can do. It's not going to be investment advice, but I can certainly, talk about what types of mutual funds. But as long as you just do any index fund, you're going to be perfectly fine. Like I think I shared with you guys before that my Roth IRA with Fidelity is in an index fund. It's a target fund. Even though I already retired, I'm watching the allocation of stocks and bonds over time, and it's going to adjust itself. It's an index fund. It's low cost. Even though this guy at Fidelity wanted me to go into their more expensive managed funds, and I was like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm just going to cut those expenses right out of there. And I think I shared with you before, if I chose his managed funds, which had the same stocks and bonds, I would have paid, $2,000 more per year, something like that. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So, now remember, don't confuse expense ratios with having assets under management. Those are two different things. You'll want to look for low-cost index funds. That's what I'm talking about for number one. But just briefly, assets under management is known as AUM. That means maybe you work with a financial advisor and you give them all your money and they do it for you. I don't think that's such a great idea. Although some of you know I did it for about 1 year with my Roth and my taxable account with Vanguard because it was a short time frame. And I've said this before, if it's a short time frame and you have the ability to talk to them and learn, then so be it. Maybe do that, right? But don't do it long term. Because once they put you into certain index funds, you can just set it and forget it. You might do little tweaks throughout the years, but the buy and hold strategy is very important. I learned that from? Who did I learn that from? That book, The Simple Path to Wealth. J.L. Collins. I almost said J.R. Collins. J.L. Collins. I read his book called The Simple Path to Wealth, and that's where I learned about, the buy and hold strategy. So number 2, over time to do better with number is, and we've talked about it this week, behaviors must be kept in check for 2 decades. Listen, doing great things with money is not a short-term solution. It's a long-term solution. You're going to need to do great things with money not only in 2025, but in 2026, 27, 28, 29, 30, 2040, 2045, 2050. Every single year as you grow your wealth, because one big mistake of maybe buying a Mercedes or buying a big house that you truly can't afford will set you back in a big way, in a huge way. You won't get to financial independence. You won't be able to say, you know what, like I talked about earlier this week, I want to quit my job. You will not be able to say that. You need to have that option when you get to my age. But if you go buy expensive cars, you buy bigger homes, and you buy all these things on credit, and you think you're doing really great, sadly you're not. Why? Because you need your job. You need your job to continue the lifestyle that you've created for yourself. So do not let lifestyle creep come into existence. You want to cut it out. You want to snip that behavior. Snip it, snip, snip. You want to have good behaviors. And you know what good behaviors are, right? Of course you do. Keeping your expenses down. Maybe if you want to buy a place, get it paid off by the time you retire. Don't finance things. Only buy something if you can truly afford it. That's the way you want to live. You don't want to live like everybody else. Because then when you get to my age, you will have absolutely no options. Number 3, for the tips to do better with money, is for those of you with children and families, you have an extra challenge. And I'm very well aware of that. You may have 2 incomes. Children will cost a lot of money, right? So you have to make sure you're always making more money, getting a better job to support the children, and teach your children to value $1. Start helping them understand these concepts of financial independence. You need to teach them that so that they don't buy things when they get older and ruin their financial lives as well. And once they get older, maybe they'll have scholarships if they get really good grades, and then you don't have to pay as much to send them to college. You may again have to have a dual income, right? So number 3 is make sure you teach children to be self-sufficient. I went to my pool at my condo community here, actually yesterday, and I met a neighbor. His name is Jason, and he happened to live on the first floor and was one of the units that flooded, so I picked his brain. I was like, Jason. And he gave me all the details, which I don't want to get into right now, but you know how scared I am of my place flooding in a hurricane, so keep coming back. I'll share what happens with hurricanes. Hurricane season starts June 1st, less than 30 days away, so yeah. We don't usually see bad hurricanes hurricane, and it was very good information. But after I left the pool and I came back into my condo, I started to think about Jason. He's 37 years old. And I said to him, even by the pool, I was like, Jason, I was 37 when I moved in here to this condo community 22, 23 years ago. 22 years ago. And he's like, wow. I said, yeah, I'm old. But, I love, as you get older, you're going to meet younger people or have younger people in your life. It's so interesting how you start putting yourself in their position, and I'm not going to sit there and say, Jason, how's your money? What's going on? His wife was there, their little 3-year-old girl, and they have a 16-year-old son as well. And I just started thinking, I wish I knew their finances, I just hope young people, in their 30s and their early 40s, are doing things that, have this kind of knowledge to know that building financial security is of utmost importance. But I just don't think that people get it. I know that all of you get it, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I'm very thankful for that. But I think the average person, unfortunately, just doesn't catch the fire, right? The financial independent, retire early mindset. And they continue to live above their means for so many years. But to wrap up number 3 then, that's why I thought of it, because he was there with his children, his 16-year-old. You've got to teach your kids money habits, good money habits, before, again, it may be too late for them. So with that, everybody, those are the 3 tips I had for you on this Friday, May 9th. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I hope you're subscribed. If not, please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. And that's gonna end our week of episodes. I hope, again, you enjoyed it. I hope you're awake. I hope that you found this relaxing, and I will see you next time.